It's time to get this series started. Make some noise for your casters. Lando and Standy, take it away.
Thank you so much, Blaze. Yes, what a pleasure it is to be in New York. Jay, you just got to watch on home soil the New York Subliners pull off a crazy W. Tell me in short, man, what is it like to be in New York with all these unbelievable fans?
Oh my God, I said it on the desk earlier. The first time for me, at least going to an event, not going to the airport, absolute blessing. But to see the home squad fight back with their backs against the wall, all the way down 0-2 to win all the way into Game 5, that was one hell of a series. And their very first series win of Majors.
On land. Yeah,
that's crazy.
On major lands. I remember Krim brought that up, and it was like, what the heck? How does that exactly even happen? But when it comes down to this series, buddy, Atlanta FaZe versus LA Thieves, I mean, we saw this one happen at the Major 4 qualifiers. The desk was touching on it. A great showing from LA Thieves. Outside of the S&Ds, not a single round victory. Do you think that changes coming into today?
It definitely does. I feel like Atlanta FaZe, at least the last time, they're not going to have the two same S&D maps. We're going to have a little bit different one. Not going to have that bow cage all the way into Game 5. We're going to have that Tuscan in the Game 2. But when you look at these maps and modes, it just really scares me for the LA Thieves. When you talk about map number 1, which is Tuscan Hardpoint, usually a strong one for them, they have lost their last 7 out of 8. And if you're Atlanta FaZe, definitely another strong one for them. They have lost their last 4 out of 6. But as we get deeper into the series, the search and destroy, in the back of your mind, if you're the Thieves players, you know that that has to be one of those things that you have to focus on versus a team like Atlanta FaZe. And then also the control. You're playing Atlanta FaZe on their best control map. So this is tough if you're LA Thieves. For me, it has to start in this map number 1.
Yeah, I mean, you and I talked about it coming into this series. The importance, the stress that really is going to be on this opening hardpoint for the LA Thieves, buddy. It feels like it's going to have to be a W here. As we said, given the recent records, and honestly, given how wild today has been, it feels like this one very well could also see a Game 5. But here we go, the final match of day number 1 here at the New York home series in Major 4, LAT, Atlanta FaZe to P1 we go.
And Atlanta FaZe starting off on the good side. They get their initial 3 kills, make it all 4. So now they're going to be aggressive through that field side, and usually on this map specifically, these are the best P1 team in the game, but Atlanta FaZe, they always respond with the best P2 in the game for them. Early start from Atlanta FaZe, getting a good chunk of time. They also were able to flip these spawns. Final 25, Thieves are here.
Yep, final 25, still up and ready to go. Atlanta FaZe still contesting for this. One guy we always got to talk about, though, when it comes down to this matchup is going to be Cellium, starting things off 4-0. Jay, it feels like every time we're talking about stats, the guy, if he doesn't have a 1.2, it feels like he's having an off series.
Yeah, he's been the most consistent player all year long. 1.2 in every single game mode. The guy is MVP caliber kind of player. So far, starting off this game hot as Atlanta FaZe, 35 points on P1, now off the rotation. Gonna have LA Thieves early control of top plat. They're trying to put pressure on towards the back, knowing that Atlanta FaZe do have those spawns, but the numbers are currently here for Atlanta. Drazah and Kenny do find 2, though.
Yeah, they are able to find 2. Simp still lingering toward the back. The only player for Atlanta FaZe that is going to be here. However, FaZe get those close spawns. Envoy's able to deal the damage off the rip. Thieves with some much necessary time. However, the teammates of Envoy continue to get poked away. Nice little elimination comes through there. 30 very valuable points still being contested for.
Yeah, LA Thieves have a bunch of players here as well. They're winning a bunch of these gunfights. aBeZy and Simp do combine for 2. As it's all going to get scrappy from here on out, but aBeZy is able to at least release some of that pressure. Atlanta FaZe still spawning in towards the back, so the final 15 is going to be theirs. But if you're LA Thieves, you need to execute a hold on this P3.
And something coming into this series as well, Jay. Recent content pieces from the Thieves, they were talking about their Tuscan HP. You and I have talked about this numerous times over Cast versus the Thieves. It feels like this team is only winning on the big maps, right? It's on the Berlins, it's on the Gavutus, and recent content pieces, they've been saying, if we can get this Tuscan under wraps, what that would mean for us is everything. But take a look at this break opportunity from Atlanta. We're talking about Thieves, the things that they can improve on. Well, on Tuscan, it's got to be holding your hills.
Yeah, that's a struggle for LA Thieves on this map. They are 11th in hold percentage compared to Atlanta FaZe, who are 3rd, and you can see the difference that it's making. And Cellium is able to find 2. Spawn still here for Atlanta FaZe. 15-point game as LA Thieves are causing them a lot of problems, even though they're spawning all the way towards the middle of that map. Eventually trades go back and forth. That's going to be LAT with the 2-piece, trying to potentially flip these spawns. They're finding every single kill in the feed as well.
There are indeed explosion after explosions, bombs bursting in the air. I want to put my hand over my chest for God's sake, given how this one is going down at the fountain, but 3 come through from Drazah as he will remain on the 4 spree, heading in toward Church. A great start for FaZe, but it is going to be a lead change for Thieves for the moment. And how about the shots from Cellium trying to lead the way, a 3-for-1 trade in favor of Atlanta.
And right there, the Thieves had 3 players off the rotation, but they lose their gunfights. Now the only player left in the point is going to be Envoy. Just trying to stay alive, trying to stall some time for his teammates to get into the play. At least flood through that field side. Arcitys and Kenny do trade back and forth, but eventually aBeZy with the 2-piece. Last player up is going to be Envoy towards the back. He's just trying to stay alive for his team, waiting for them to get back into this point.
Doing a great job so far. Get ready to have a few members enter in toward his perspective. He gets dealt with. Now Drazah, the first line of defense, able to cut down one. FaZe still lingering, still strong toward the backside. But it's Kenny who's able to deal the damage. As we said, a player that we always talk about with this Thieves team, Jay. And when he's got that SMG in his hands, the spotlight is even brighter. Yeah,
right now, starting off at 9 and 7, this has been a great hold from LA Thieves to grow this lead the way that they did. Almost a 40-point difference now, forcing Atlanta FaZe to rotate early towards this P5, but aBeZy's going to be the only one there. Another rotation going to go in favor of the Thieves, their early setup.
Drazah does get taken down, but as you said, Thieves, they're ready, they're prepared, and they're also locking down the seconds. Simp checks both ways before crossing, enters in, but he gets dropped as well. Another 3, favoring the side of Thieves, dealt with and accomplished. The first team fight goes the way of LAT. And now, Jay, I mean, we're talking about hill after hill. They've just now doubled the score of Atlanta.
And Atlanta FaZe, they're just going one by one. You got to slow down and let the teamwork prevail, and that's exactly what they're able to do there. All 4 dead, execute the break on towards P5. Final 25 seconds. And Atlanta FaZe can potentially pick up, but Octane with great shots, able to find that 2-piece. Now the pinch is going to be here from LA Thieves, and Envoy, he finds the 2 to eventually allow his teammates to get this final 20. Oh my!
Envoy starting to piece. And thinking about that rotation toward New, we were looking at that scorecard just a moment ago. It was Atlanta on top. Now it is Thieves doubling the score of their opposition, feeling good and feeling ready for the second set of rotations. But let's step aside and see how the other side is sounding. A listening now with Atlanta.
Come in, middle. There you down. I'm still mid. You. Nice, good shot. Let's see, get time.
Yeah, I got it.
I spawned my flip. I'm trying to get mid fast.
Alright, same time.
I got one pitching me. How much? I'm
I'm
gonna get well. Top fire. I'm gonna be on our side. Top fire, draws, guys.
Kenny, they're mid L.
Top fire, dead.
I'm
You go heavy. Make sure we have time. Five mid. MC stay down. MC stay down. He's out there. Kenny, I hit him once. Two on top. He needs help.
There you.
Ah, shit. Okay, 1-3. I need a rock one middle. I'm gonna pick a left, okay?
Salmon you.
Yeah.
Slow the game down and let them come to us sometimes.
Yeah. One's middle, hitting bottom trip. Actually, he's going top radio. I'm only fire now. They have P5.
I have the back, alright?
Yeah, I have P5.
I don't have radio, bro.
Okay, that's fine.
Call out what we have, alright?
It was arch. Okay,
I have the back.
Oh, some panic there on the comms out of Atlanta FaZe. You're hearing them say, Jay, we got to slow the game down. We got to allow for the Thieves to come to us. And, well, that may be a venture that Thieves are happy to engage upon. As we said, up big at this moment. Atlanta trying to hold this hill from the front as Thieves invested in the flank.
So far, good 15 seconds for Atlanta FaZe, but 3 go down, make it all 4. They take control of top hat. They're going to be aggressive through that left side of the map, forcing all of Atlanta FaZe to continuously spawn out towards the middle. They're going to decide to wrap back towards P5, but Envoy, he reads the play beautifully. On a 6-free, can potentially pick up the glide bomb. He spots Arcitys, he finds that kill. And right now, LA Thieves, they're playing like a full-on roster. Teamwork is at his point.
I mean, they are flowing right now. I mean, the score just continues to go their way. Double century mark reached, and FaZe, all they can do is stare at this hill from afar and just pray that this next rotation is going to be a full 60. Thieves have been the masters so far at breaking into these hills. More specifically, Envoy has been the master at breaking into these hills. aBeZy finds himself on the 5 spree, hot on the heels of Envoy. That streak is going to be eliminated. However, threat averted for the moment. Kenny, though, eager to bring up the SMG, tosses nade, says a prayer, and here comes the glide as well.
Big kill from Kenny right there to at least allow Envoy to spawn right on him. They know that they have roost control. They can push the pressure on towards the back, potentially flip these spawns as Kenny wins a huge one-on-one versus Cellium. Unfortunately, not strong enough for that stun grenade. It's now Atlanta FaZe trying to get themselves back into this game by soaking in the time from the front, but it's going to be all Thieves players. Octane with 2, Envoy with the 3rd, and the last player drops as well. LA Thieves are not making any mistakes.
Jay, this is dominant. I mean, we don't see this happen very often. 221 to 126. 10 seconds left. And again, if you're Thieves, you've got so much flexibility around the map. I mean, they can continue to invest in these flanks. And ultimately for Atlanta, somewhat shell-shocked given the way that this result has turned. I mean, what a crazy run that Thieves have gone on. As we said, a team that we talked about on the other side is great at breaking. Well, Thieves have been that team so far on Tuscan, and here they come, right into the church, sliding between the pews. aBeZy doing what he can to stay on up. The trades are in. The 1v1 finally favors FaZe.
aBeZy and Arcitys combined for all 4 to secure those spawns for Atlanta. Not give them a little more time. Try to get back into this one. Now the pressure from LA Thieves is going to be from the front and field, coming from every single direction. I don't know if they're going to read this many angles, and that's going to be 3 dead LA Thieves every single time. At the final 25-second mark of every hill, they are getting this remaining junk time, forcing Atlanta FaZe to early rotate, and they can win it here.
5 more seconds. 5 more seconds is all it is. Atlanta FaZe eager to jump back on in the HP, but they are dealt with. They are handled. And how about that start? A statement. Game 1 victory out of the LA Thieves. Putting FaZe in the box, Jay. Woo!
Right there, Atlanta FaZe, they were just playing a lot of single player, basically. That's all they were doing. No teamwork from them. All single challenges, and then for those final 25, 30 seconds at every hill, they just allow LA Thieves to execute that break and then gain that final 20 to 25. That grew the lead substantially towards eventually when we got towards the end of this game. If you're LA Thieves, you come out swinging off the rip. That definitely throws Atlanta FaZe off, because last time these guys played, it was the LA Thieves who were able to win it, but it was only by 13 points. So if you're Atlanta FaZe, you just come out really slow. The SMGs don't really go positive. Simp goes 14 and 26, aBeZy 23 and 27. But on the opposite side, Envoy 34 and 20, 26 non-traded kills, earns himself the glide bomb, doing all the dirty work for this LA Thieves roster. They come out and absolutely smack Atlanta FaZe on this map number 1.
Yeah, and like I said, we don't see W's happen like this all the time. I mean, what, the Devs touched on it. Ali was discussing. It feels like the S&D has dramatically improved from Atlanta, but almost at a fault, because the respawns have taken such a dip, and you can see it happen for that very reason. I mean, we were talking about both teams really struggling on Tuscan as of late, but again, just a very welcoming sign if you are a Thieves fan, not just to see the team play well, but the way that they were dominating on the breaks. It was FaZe with the rotations, and it didn't really matter, Jay. It didn't matter if they had the rotations or not. They were breaking in regardless. And as you said, a standout performance there from Envoy. Sensational stuff. What a wild day it has been so far, Jay.
I know. And now if you're the Thieves, you are in control of this series. Because when I first looked at the maps and modes, I'm thinking, all right, Atlanta FaZe, it's probably going to be a 3-0. But the Thieves, they come out and answer with strictly teamwork. Like I said, for them to get every final 20 to 25 seconds of junk time, that's why they were able to grow the lead the way that they did. Now you have to go into the search and destroy in the back of your mind that you're thinking last time you played these guys, you could not win a single round. And if you're Octane, you couldn't get a single kill. But the confidence right now for LA Thieves, we know when they enter the LAN setting, they're a totally different team. Find themselves up 1-0 in this series. And now if you're Atlanta FaZe, you need to be as dominant as you were throughout all of Stage 4 and search and destroy to at least tie it up.
Yeah, and I mean, even after that loss that the LA Thieves suffered versus Atlanta, right, those back-to-back 6-0s, I want to say that LA Thieves went on to like win 4 of their last 5 search destroys too. So, I mean, you just have this mixture of the back and forth. Like we said, both teams really starting to implement that search and destroy, and so you wonder if that's going to change this time around. But I think you brought it up perfectly, man. Everything changes now that LA Thieves have claimed that game number 1. It sets the table now for what could be a very entertaining search destroy. And hey, we're staying on Tuscan. We're going to be here for a while.
Yeah, we're on Tuscan. A little follow-up on
Triple
Berlin.
T's followed by the double B's. I think that's what Ali said, something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that. Something like that.
Pretty nice. I like that, Ali. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to use it for the rest of the year. I think we have some stats that we want to take a look at actually coming into this search and destroy. As we said, Atlanta FaZe, LA Thieves, 2 teams who are very well acquainted with each other, but we're taking a look at the Atlanta side. And Jay, these numbers, well, they're quite terrifying in Major 4.
Definitely very terrifying, because so far, at least for Major 4, they were dominant in search and destroy. 5-1 record, over the 70% round win percentage, which is absolutely insane. Team KD of a 1.26, 4v3 situations, 93. That's basically a guarantee. But you also see the stat right there. 3v4 situations, 43%. That's almost 50% of the time that they're winning that situation as well. So if you're Atlanta FaZe, you just need to do exactly what you've been doing all throughout Stage 4, playing with non-stop aggression, fast A plants, fast B plants. They just they were simply just not slowing down all throughout stage 4. LA Thieves need to be prepared for that.
Yeah, and I guess on the same notion of that, who are you looking at from the LA Thieves side to really try to counter that aggression that we expect to see from FaZe in Game 2?
Oh, it's definitely based off of that map number 1. Has to be Envoy. He's playing with a whole different level of confidence right now. Almost double positive in that map number 1. He's the guy that I'm really looking at to shut down the pressure from aBeZy and Simp. We know what they like to do around that P5 area. Double work towards that late flank, or at least slow play it as well. So whoever's going to be on that B side for LA Thieves, take your time, play for the information. And if you're Envoy, you have to match the aggression of Simp and aBeZy.
Without a doubt, my friend. Tusken Search Destroy, loaded up and ready to go. We, I guess, already getting the conversation, right, of LA Thieves. What a Search Destroy win would mean for this roster,
yes.
right? Given how many times we have talked about, okay, LAT, great, you're good at hardpoint, awesome, you're great at control, cool. Search Destroy, it has plagued them so many times in the past. And a team, a franchise rather, that LA Thieves has never beaten in their last 2 years. Can they do it here? And honestly, it feels like it is going to start with this Search Destroy. As we fly in for round number 1, Atlanta starting things off on the attack. And at least off the rip, it appears that B could be the initial target.
It's gonna be all out pressure, at least through P5. Simp finds the first, but Drazah and Envoy, they answer, keep the man advantage in favor of the Thieves. So now Simp just gonna work towards that bomb plant. 3v2 situation now in favor of the Thieves.
Thieves with numbers, Simp and Arcitys. Look to scatter, look to separate at the same time, trying to lock down these crucial angles. Arcitys does get the info, basically sees 2, if not all 3 players pushing out of P5. Octane eager for information, but it's Kenny who ultimately finds the pick. Now up to Alec in a 1v3, takes down 1, ultimately falls. LAT play the number game. They counter at P5, they lock in the defuse, and round 1 belongs to them.
Teamwork is just simply on point right now for the Thieves. When right there, you thought it was going to be a complete blind counter. Right there, Atlanta FaZe send 3 players at least towards that P5 area. They lose the trades and immediately rotate over towards that A bomb. But you see the Thieves, 3-man army, just right through that P5, commit towards the flank, get the information on Arcitys, and then also assist each other towards the middle map to find that kill onto Simp. Very, very clean round from LA Thieves to start us off.
Teamwork makes the dream work. So far, it has for LAT. Round 1 goes their way. Atlanta FaZe, now their first opportunity at defense. We'll see what they can try to pull off of, considering that they are on a 3-game Tusken S&D winning spree. See if they can increase that, get back into this one, and ultimately level the rounds at 1. LAT, at least do push out P5 a decent amount. However, that bomb is staying somewhat stationary toward the back. Trying to play for picks, play for information, and Octane has got exactly that.
And this is their best way to attack on this map. 75% win rate when they have a neutral setup, just simply playing for that information. You know how aggressive Atlanta FaZe like to play. Get some information on aBeZy, and Envoy strikes first. Gets that first blood onto Arcitys. Takes a little bit of that bottom in map control. Now this is forcing all of Atlanta FaZe to start to back up.
That's such great aggression because Atlanta know that there's someone around their bottom church. There's somebody hiding, somebody lingering. aBeZy takes down 1. Quick little high five from the LA Thieves players, but it's Cellium taking 1 down through the wall. Not going to be enough to shut down Octane, but how about the AR duo coming through hot? 25 seconds on the clock, all up to aBeZy.
aBeZy in the 1v2. Bomb is going to start to rotate over towards that A site. Drazah just going to get this one down, force aBeZy to come to them. He's going to wrap his way in towards field. Should be able to get some good timing here.
Does indeed. First one found. Octane, give it the information. 35 seconds to play with. 35 seconds, ultimately to defend. And it's really going to come down to aBeZy. Searching, looking around every corner, every nook and cranny. Where could Octane be hiding? Checks both ways before crossing. Clutches out the 1v2, and Atlanta FaZe sweat off the brow. Round going to them.
Just a great play right there from aBeZy to be in the perfect position. At least close towards that bottom church area to where he was able to immediately go towards field, find a player that plants that bomb, and wrap his way in towards church to eventually find the second. Atlanta FaZe tied up at 1 after a great clutch from aBeZy.
Great stuff as well from that guy. I mean, we talked about it a lot right throughout Vanguard. Hasn't been the best title, obviously, from aBeZy's perspective, but still has been playing his role, been Mr. Aggressive when Atlanta FaZe need him to be. Ultimately has a great round there. Quick visuals found from Arcitys. Octane looks to bring out the big boy coming into round number 3. But little does he know, Atlanta FaZe, they have a free site over at B. Octane, the first line of defense, looks to toss out a nade. Is it gonna land? Get some hit markers, but bomb goes down.
Bombs goes down, but Drazah finds the first, and then the second nade comes in to take down Simp. So what was just a 4v4 is now going to be a 3v2, making it 3v1, all left up to Arcitys. He's in a great spot to at least take down the first. 30 seconds to work with, cannot win the gunfight onto Kenny. And I thought that that was going to be a complete blind counter. Atlanta FaZe had multiple players towards that B site, but the teamwork once again from the Thieves to set up that team nade to get that guy off bomb as Drazah finds that first kill. So it eventually closes out the round for the Thieves, now up 2-1.
It's almost like you can see the communication, like what they're experiencing throughout the round in front of their very eyes. I mean, you're seeing, despite not having that B site instantly with some eyes on it, they're tossing nades, they're getting information. Octane is at least contributing. And like we said, despite having that portion of the map very wide open, LAT conquer once more. Kenny sitting on that 3 spree. We see another look at this B site. Both teams very, very fluent inside of P5. Well's going to be open, ultimately favoring the Thieves for the time. And they're setting up for a pinch. They're setting up for the pick, and the pick they will get. Ultimately traded out goes Envoy, but Kenny has got the information. Oh, somehow Zip stays alive.
He's eating car bombs. He's absolutely
what did he eat
one
for
shot.
breakfast? What is this?
Octane finds another. Kenny finds Simp. All left up to Cellium in the 1v3. They know his positioning, and the Thieves again. Clean teamwork, take your time on offense, play for your information, get the first blood, and they close out the round, up 3-1.
Jay, these are some of the cleaner rounds that we've seen, not just from the Thieves, but honestly in this game. Like what they've been able to do. Like, you can just tell, as we said, the mindset is flowing right now. Oh, look at that!
Hey, Gullis!
It is
Big Pierce.
Big P in the crowd. Love to see that, not a doppelganger. There's a lot of people who look like pro players, but that is actually Mr. Gunless in the flesh. Hope you're enjoying the series, buddy. Here we are, into the next round. Atlanta FaZe on the attack, and it looks like it could be somewhat of a distraction. Once more, that B site is left open. Octane, only one in year's distance.
Yeah, Octane is the guy that's giving the information up. So now if you're LA Thieves, you just line up those team nades once again. Potentially earn yourself that first blood, but Atlanta FaZe, they're not going to rush plant this site this time around as aBeZy does find the first. Kenny with the trade, 3v3, bomb going down at B.
Oh, great utility. I mean, Atlanta FaZe not even close to Drazah, but yet stunning him, getting him out of that position to allow for the bomb to go down. The Cellium looked to tango. Drazah brought down to 6 HP. Ultimately stays alive, keeps numbers even. As that time continues to tick away, LAT have got to get a plan of attack going.
Yeah, Atlanta FaZe just basically flipped spawns. Took control of the back of the base. Envoy finds the first, Cellium with the trade, so not in 2v2. But Envoy's gonna be on the bomb. Someone has to check it. Kenny's just watching over them. Kenny finds that first. That's all he needs to do. And Kenny finishes it off with the final 2 for LA to now go up 4-1. And I'm pretty sure he also earns himself a glide bomb. Kenny having himself one hell of a search and destroy so far.
My brother's keeper, how about that play? Coming in from Thieves once more. As we said, I mean, the word that comes to mind is teamwork, teamwork, teamwork. Thieves up 4-1 in this search and destroy. They have a glide bomb to work with, and panic starts to set in right now from FaZe. As we said, this has been their mode. We saw the stats coming into game 2, how dominant they have been recently in this very mode, and right now, they are getting dominated. Arcitys at least able to change up the pace of what has been a very interesting search and destroy. Finds the first blood with the nade. We'll see what LAT elect to do now.
So down to 3v4. If you're Kenny, you know at least a couple players like to play towards top church. Get that hit marker with the nade. But the SMG is on LAT. Gonna potentially try to set up this push through P5. Kenny's gonna push right out towards that top plat. At least puts himself in a better position. He finds that kill too, 3v3.
Kenny gets erased. Glide bomb not going to be able to be utilized here. Quick 2v2, aBeZy. Okay, somehow gets out of dodge. Everybody at the King's Theater clenched and ready to go. Drazah now brings it, or rather is left in a 1v2. 25 seconds to work with if he plants this fast. He still has the ability to clutch out this round. Gonna get met with some fire early. And aBeZy there to drop him. How about this round out of aBeZy, bringing Atlanta FaZe back?
That's 2 rounds right there on defense, where aBeZy has gotten a 3-piece both times. to secure the round for Atlanta FaZe. They're just going to stall out this clock, wait for this dead silence to develop, so they can potentially have it for later rounds. As Atlanta FaZe are able to eventually stop the bleeding, get a round on the board. Now down 4-2, but you got to keep in mind, Kenny still has that glide bomb to work with. It's going to be really difficult to try to attack towards either site.
Yeah, if you're Atlanta FaZe, that's just always going to be in the back of your mind when it comes down to the comms. It almost makes you want to hesitate, right? When it comes down to different strategies. If you're over at the field, if you get a little bit aggressive over in middle, and who knows, honestly, if you're in church as well, it just feels like you never really know where those glide bombs are going to come in and take you down from. Atlanta FaZe now put themselves in a swing round type of moment. And if you are Thieves, as we said, the S&D would be a sigh of relief if you were able to conquer Atlanta here, go up 2-0, but 2 rounds left to go. Somebody actually just dives. It looked like for a moment over toward the top, maybe a bait. Envoy gets the information, and the nades are tossed out toward fire. aBeZy taken down first.
Kenny finds that first kill. The teamwork from him and Envoy has been tremendous so far in this series. It's now Atlanta FaZe. Man down, just have to play for some picks. Drazah at least puts up aggression, gets out with his life. It allows Envoy to eventually find the second. Bomb gonna be down, 45 seconds to work with. Cellium and Arcitys have a lot on their hands.
A big job to do. And Arcitys looks one way, gets challenged from the other. It just feels like it has been one of those search and destroys where Thieves can do no wrong. Challenge first. Kenny hits the deck. Cellium not able to clutch it out. Too many bodies, too many lives, and Thieves now up 5 rounds to 2. How are we here? How are we here, Jay?
They're just playing beautiful search and destroy teamwork at its finest. Once they get that first blood in towards P5, you see that all of Atlanta FaZe, they start to put the focus on that side of the map. That allows Drazah to be aggressive through field. Eventually, he gives up the positioning, but gets a player at least a little weak for Envoy to eventually find that second kill. Right now, the Thieves not making any mistakes in that map. Number 1, continuing on in this search and destroy, 1 round away from finding themselves up 2-0.
As you said, how about that partnership out of Kenny and Envoy? 17 kills, and Octane, to say he's been in the Jansport so far throughout this S&D, able to find a pick. Ultimately traded, but here comes the glide bomb.
He gets one.
And he lands it onto Cellium. A 1v3 now for Simp. Just to keep this one alive, 2 players line up, but LAT handle business again. A crazy surge in the Tuscan HP and dominance here in game number 2. Tuscan search and destroy. We were talking about how it felt like Atlanta FaZe surely gonna go up at least 1-0, maybe 2-0 in the series, but that has not happened at all. A total reversal in our late night match here at the New York Major, Jay.
Atlanta FaZe on that were on a 3-game win streak, but you could just tell, if you are LAT, the way that you just played that game was flawless. On defense, every single time they took mid-map control, they forced Atlanta FaZe to be super aggressive through that B side, which basically played into the exact way that Thieves wanted them to play. They had the team nades set up, they knew exactly where they wanted to position themselves, so at least execute the retake. That was beautiful. But on the attacks, like I said before the map even started, their best attacking rounds are usually when they have a neutral setup, 75% win rate. They know that Atlanta FaZe love to play aggressive. At least throughout all of Stage 4, it was all about aggression. They slowed the game down. They eventually got a majority of these first blood in this game. And then when you find yourself in that man advantage, you're allowing players who are usually the island players to make those plays.
Yeah.
LA Thieves did not make any mistakes so far in these first 2 maps. Now put themselves in a dominant situation, now be up 2-0.
And it's crazy too, because we came into the search destroy. I mean, literally after like round number 1, it was like instantly those thoughts had left us. The back-to-back 6-0 losses just like 2-3 weeks ago, totally out the door right now as the Thieves find themselves up 2-0 in the series. Folks, it's been a day of game 5. It's been a days of near reverse sweeps. If not, actual reverse sweeps. Can it happen for Atlanta? Or in our final match of the day, will we be given a sweep? Points on the line and a loser's bracket position on the line as well for who will fall in this game. When we come back after the break, it is Tuscan control. Stay with us.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by Mountain Dew and Zenny. Armor your eyes with Blocks gaming glasses starting at $24 by visiting zenny.com/CDL. zenny.com/CDL.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the final match of the day, and what a doozy it has been so far. If you're not here in the venue, if you're at least in the surrounding New York area, I highly suggest that you try, get a ticket. I literally just saw a lady get awarded a trip for two anywhere she wants to go, Jay.
It's crazy.
Anywhere she wants
Free
to go.
flights.
A perfect vacation. Love that. Where would you like to go?
Me?
Yeah. Of course, in the off-season.
I think definitely Hawaii. Hawaii is like at the top of my list of places I want to visit.
That's the one. That's the one. Okay, if you're here, we recommend Hawaii, by the way. But like we said, so far it has been all sunny skies. It feels like it's been a vacation so far for the LA Thieves throughout these first two games, buddy. Wild stuff. I mean, we came into this thinking, okay, Atlanta FaZe going to display this level of dominance again. Yeah. They're off the W versus this team at the Major 4 qualifiers. No search destroy round wins, and it feels like everything has been flip-flopped up to this point. Every series so far has gone to a game 5. Every series so far today has started with a team going up 2-0. Do you think it remains the same, or do you think this series is different?
This one's going to be a tough one for LA Thieves because on offense, they're 10th overall throughout the entire league, and on defense, they are dead last. Going up against a team like Atlanta FaZe, this is their best control map for them.
Yeah.
3rd on offense, 2nd on defense. But just the way that the Thieves have been playing, it's all about teamwork. They need to continue that here. Arcitys finds that first. But you see early pressure already from Atlanta FaZe, is just trying to get this A-point out of the way.
It just feels like if you're Atlanta, right, just get this A-point, just get focused, get the guns hot, and then give yourself as much time as possible to really hone in, to really zone in over at that B capture point. First hit gonna be through, somewhat uncontested so far. Out of LAT, they look to finally make their attack as aBeZy, aggressive as ever. Inside of the church, looks both ways, and now will try to be a thorn in the side. Thankfully, his teammates are winning a majority of these gunfights. Drazah gets handled, and again, FaZe continue to look for map control.
Yeah, right now, Atlanta FaZe find themselves up by 3 kills. They do have a lot of map control. Simp sitting himself in a nice corner towards that top flat. Should be able to get a couple here. At least the trade comes in for the Thieves. So it's looking like they're just going to give this one up. Force their way through P5. Potentially put Atlanta FaZe in a little bit of a spawn trap to try to get their lives back in their favor.
What a great work coming in from Drazah. Once more, it felt like the teamwork was on point for LAT throughout that S&D, and I guess in particular in regards to that life, it is so as well. Envoy having a phenomenal series up to this point, put up like 34 and 20 in the hard point. Great numbers in the S&D. Off to somewhat of a slower start as that initial capture point did go the way of Atlanta FaZe. A is in their possession, and now it is all about B. 4 players sitting strongly through the middle side of the map as LAT look to play the long game.
Yeah, and Atlanta FaZe, they're just completely disregarding Octane in their spawn. They're just going to try to attack this through mid. I think LA Thieves, with their setup, they are prepared for that push. Just cannot lose the trade gunfights in this situation. Drazah with the first. If you're Atlanta FaZe, you do have top green control, but favor in trades going in favor of the Thieves. Last player up in a position is going to be Cellium, and the Thieves hold strong on the first push.
Yep, first wave down. Solid stuff so far from Thieves. Octane sitting on the 6th spree. What it would mean to have a glide bomb. Again, if you are LAT, they've had them in back-to-back games, and that nade comes through. Perfect timing out of Atlanta. Envoy. Again, the next line of defense is Atlanta somewhat bruised and battered as they made their way past that 50-yard line, but Envoy comes up clutch again, and most importantly, stays alive, making Atlanta FaZe work for every single bit of map positioning.
Yeah, there's only 45 seconds left. Atlanta FaZe have like 2 good pushes. Just had to fight for this top plat control. Do win that first gunfight, get the nade onto Kenny. As Cellium wins one towards the middle of the map, all out pressure through P5. This is basically going to be the last push for Atlanta. Octane with the first, Envoy with the nade. Fortunately, Kenny cannot find the third. And this potentially can be the opening for Atlanta. They have top green, they have top plat, they have to get on that point.
They got to do something, right? At least somebody's able to hop on it for a moment. Cellium, eagle eyes toward the back. He eventually gets dealt with as well. Headshot after headshot still. LAT with the numbers. And a desperation Hail Mary type of play as Atlanta run right into the blender. Arcitys falls. Octane again on a spree. Closes things out on a 5-kill spree, 11-3 so far to start off this round. FaZe, they never had a chance at that zone.
Yeah, Octane was just beaming, not missing any shots. He was on a 6 spree to start us off, couldn't earn himself the glide bomb, but now he finds himself on a 5. Can potentially earn it here on this attacking round, but the Thieves do not give up any segments at that B point, so they are currently down by 3. But if you're Octane, you're thinking big picture. This glide bomb can change this game if he earns it.
LA Thieves, we've talked about it numerous times, right in the search and destroy. You got to go up 2-0 versus Atlanta. It honestly feels like you got to go up 2-0 in this control versus Atlanta FaZe. Don't allow for them to have any breath, any bit of positivity. As Octane did fall off of the spree, so that streak is not going to be earned. Ultimate positive for Atlanta. However, 3 do fall for FaZe. And because of that, Envoy will look to try to get all kinds of comfortable inside of the base. Establish himself quite nicely, maybe toward the tank. Does get foiled. And with that, LAT revert back to A.
Yeah, right there, Atlanta FaZe just had to put their focus on Envoy. You cannot allow him to slay in your spawn. So they give up that map positioning towards that A site. First segment is going to be here. Envoy, the player off spawn, watching this flank. It's going to be 2 players from Atlanta FaZe, at least trying to take him down. Great shots, not able to finish the kill. And on the opposite side, Simp finds 3, able to take him off of that A point. Now 53 seconds and counting. LA Thieves need 1 segment to at least extend this time by a minute. That's going to be a lot of trades going in their favor.
Oh my
but Simp
goodness.
has woken up on a 6 spree.
On a 6 spree, currently is Simp 1 away from the glide. We're talking about it, and it could be in possession of LAT soon. Now it could be on the Atlanta end. 1 player makes it into B. That is going to be Drazah. I believe Simp did earn the glide bomb in the end. So positives and negatives really floating throughout the map. Is damage control done for Atlanta? They wiped the player off of that B zone, but now it's back toward A. Look to dive in for a moment. And Atlanta not able to hold off that capture. An extra minute added on to the clock. LAT make their first look at the attack.
And down by 6 lives. So about gaining some map control. Right now, Atlanta FaZe all the way pushed out through P5. aBeZy finds that kill onto Drazah. He's going to potentially back down, but right now, Envoy, he was able to sneak his way through back plat. Kenny also does find 1, so a potential stack can be here, but they still have to know where aBeZy is. He's going to cause them some problems from top green as both players from the Thieves get taken down on the opposite side of the map. Now everyone off spawn. You have to just take your time through P5, open up with some nades.
Yeah, some unfortunate timing ultimately from LAT. As you said, hold on to those nades, get them somewhat placed well. You see player 3 and player 4 to the top side of your map. That's Kenny and Envoy. They're trying to do some work while their ARs try to handle business over in P5, but they get taken down in the end. In LAT, constant staggered pushes just based off of what feels like an awakening right now from Atlanta. Cellium starting to heat up as well. Sits at 12-7 as he makes his way off into the night. The life count favoring FaZe dramatically. And with 25 seconds left, LAT will see if they can get at least 1 good look at this, but they've only got, what, a slim amount of lives to handle left.
Yeah, it's only 15 seconds. This one is going to be done. Atlanta FaZe hold strong on defense. They earn themselves a glide bomb. They do not give up any ticks as well. Basically a tie game now. If it does come down to segments, Atlanta FaZe do outslay in this round. Kenny does find 2, so there's potential 2v4 here, but nope. Too many players from Atlanta FaZe here. Simp finds the final 3 to close it out. And Atlanta FaZe get themselves on the board.
And again, it's not anything like unbelievably impressive, but at least it's a positive if you're Atlanta, right? That's how often we talk about it, right? When it comes down to the controls, like at least get a defensive win on board, see that 1-0, or obviously in Atlanta's case, that 1-1 score. Get something going, get the streaks flowing, get everybody in more of a positive mindset. Atlanta get granted with that, but now they will take the tedious task once more of seeing an attack on to Tuscan. Big moment in this game. As we said for Atlanta FaZe, an offensive win would be huge. On the other side for LAT, going up 2-1 would be just as massive, all things considered. Let's go ahead and step aside and see how the LAT camp is sounding.
I went there pitch. I'm deep pitch.
Tyler's in our church somewhere.
I don't see him in church, bro. He comes up top.
Well, all right. Well, going top blue, Alec.
I'm pots right now.
I say I watch the pitch.
Tyler's
top
missing.
blue,
Let's
Alec.
go, Tyler dead. Save it,
I'm
church, in church,
I can help you, church. I'm here.
Church, not front door.
You get my short.
Church,
I'm hitting our side. I can hit our top blue.
top blue.
I'm nading our block. I need our pillar.
Top blue,
Nade our
top
pillar. I'll slide for you, Zach. I didn't hit a nade. Oh, I didn't hit him. He's laying out pillar, bros. I can slide on Zach. Pillar laying out. Nice guy. Pillar, I'm me.
Super weak there,
I'm dead. I'm dead.
Two.
Chalk it.
They could cut
I spawn
faster.
close.
I'm spawning back.
Hey, I am playing.
I'm playing to kill with Sam.
I'll play it.
Keep bottom to me, aBeZy, bro. Nice. 30.
Absolute. Our side, outside maps.
Play your kills. I want
John, this could
I'm not
Okay,
trying.
that's all y'all. Ricky,
Wait, Amy?
He's on point. He went short.
Statue one shot.
Sure.
Absolute statue. I promise you.
sure, bro.
Yo, on statue one shot.
Alec is alive in our spawn.
Alec got me dead.
Like B-side.
I'm one shot, that's him.
I'll
Amy,
play your right. I'll play your
That's
right.
fine. I have bottom turret.
There you dead.
I have bottom turret still.
I hear
They're
you.
spawning Ivy, guys. They're spawning
Let me know,
Ivy,
Zach. I
guys.
can help you.
I am right, yeah.
They're spawning Ivy. They can cut low well. I
Here,
hear
right.
you.
Okay.
Simp does.
Comms right there for LA Thieves are clean as ever. Right there you can see a little bit of that frustration when they were trying to shut down that A point. And then eventually, when both of his teammates die across the map, Octane finds that 2-piece with the nade to at least not allow them to complete that A capture at that time. But eventually, Atlanta FaZe, they're able to close this one out. 1:30 to work with, up by 1 life.
Oh, great work from Envoy. Able to handle business, at least for one. The 3-to-1 trade favors the Thieves in this first push from Atlanta FaZe at this B zone. Simp looks to get out of dodge, and it feels like for the third, if not the fourth time in this Tuscan control. Octane sitting on a 5 spree. Glide bomb would be big, but the future of this match, but take a look at what Atlanta's doing. They're getting everybody established, getting everybody focused toward the ramp. They've got all 4 players hanging out. We'll see if LAT can ultimately handle them in the end. Octane now 6 in a row, and FaZe get cleared off, but they do get that 1 tick.
Oh, that 1 tick can be so big for Atlanta FaZe. So now they find themselves up by 4. If you're Atlanta, you still have that glide bomb to work. This is still a potential round that you can walk away with. Now you just have to worry about Octane. The guy who's currently on a 6-3 can earn himself a glide bomb of his own. He does that. Great shots from him and Drazah combined to at least find that 2-piece. Cellium gonna be the last player up. He drops in. Now with this map positioning that the Thieves do have, you see all of Atlanta FaZe having to overextend through mid.
Atlanta FaZe have got to change up the strategies a decent amount. Drazah finds himself on 5 in a row too. So without a doubt, you got to be looking at that number 2 arrow as he flies through P5 in a gun engagement, looking to try to stay alive for the moment. Again, double glide bombs could be everything for Thieves in this next round. That's going to be 6. FaZe handle business. And that 1 tick looks like that's all that they are going to get. 1 final push. McKinney established, set on up. LAT playing this defense. However, they allow for that 1 tick to slip.
They are just continuously pushing out P5 when Atlanta FaZe are working towards that 8 point. Octane is on a 4-5-3 every single time he finds himself around that roof's area. And then even when they give up P5, they're forcing Atlanta FaZe now to push through the front side to try to get towards B. They're fully set up for it. No one is losing their gunfights, and even when they are trading efficiently to keep the numbers in their favor. So now the Thieves, down by 4 segments, you have a glide bomb to work with. I think if you're the Thieves, all you want to do is get done is at least capture that first segment at B.
See if they can do it. Not an easy task by any means, especially versus this very crafty Atlanta FaZe team. As Kenny looks to set the tone off the start of this round, jumps in the field, and that will be his final resting place for the moment. As we said, glide bombs, things that you got to think about. Either side has got them. It's really going to be about that strategy. It feels like A is ultimately going to be guaranteed, as it typically is here in Tuscan control. And it appears, based off what the Thieves' strategy is for the moment, all 4 arrows looking every single direction. Get this tick, get it out of the way, and ultimately, Jay, set yourself up to use that glide bomb in however many pushes that you'll have with 2 minutes on the clock.
That's just great work right there from the Thieves to watch every single angle. Put themselves up in the live department currently by 1. As the A segment is going to be complete. You still have Kenny at least in a great position. He's going to be able to sneak his way on towards his B point. 2 players here to contest him though. So Atlanta FaZe, they're going to be able to shut down that push. But now 2 minutes to work with. If you're the Thieves, you have a glide bomb as well. Octane is not missing any shots. But just right now, if you're Atlanta FaZe, it's all about the map control. Continuously pushing out towards P5, forcing LA Thieves to push their way through field.
Oh, and Drazah not able to sneak his way through. Again, it's really just about cutting down those numbers. Not allowing for all 4 players to thrive inside of your base. Getting past the mid-map mark as well. Job done. Threat thwarted so far. Out of Atlanta, Envoy not having the greatest of games. As we said, he has been the difference maker in map 1 and map 2. Can this light be the difference? Nice shot on the Simp, as that'll make him sit a little bit differently in his chair moving forward throughout this game.
And that's a big
Here
kill.
comes the glide. Here comes the glide.
The glide is going to get invested. But now they know that at least 2 players are going to be towards that top green area. You have 1 player in Octane working his way towards the back. Finds that opening kill onto Arcitys, but Atlanta FaZe, they're trying to break this from Plat. Cellium and the Tiny Terrors just need to win their gunfights as the first hit is going to be here. LA Thieves do the dirty work now as they eventually get broken. Cellium and aBeZy combined for 3, shut down the push. Now 1:10 on the clock. LA Thieves down by 3.
And as you said, the summary ultimately is that LAT at least get that tick, so they're going to be even for the moment. A minute on the clock, 1 more would guarantee them that defense heading into round 5. 2 obviously would net them the game, the series, and the 3-0 win as aBeZy doing great work toward the top side of the map. As we said, trying to cut down the forces, cut down the cavalry out of the opposite end. An unfortunate team nade is going to set the Thieves back for the moment. With 40 seconds left, they've got a few players pushed up nicely, but Arcitys giving Drazah a haircut. Now with 30 seconds, Thieves have got to go.
Thieves have got to go, and they got to trade these gunfights. As Cellium does find 2. Last push coming in from the Thieves. Gonna decide to put all out aggression towards the middle. Drazah does find the first towards the back. And the next player he has to take down is Simp, but Simp with the trade. So efficient right now, both squads, but that's gonna be a 2-piece from Octane. Might be the opening.
It could be indeed, as we said, just looking for that 1 tick. 2 players left for Thieves, and they are in the back of the base. Drazah and Kenny kiss this round goodbye and get prepared for this round number 5. Atlanta FaZe, hold on.
And I'm pretty sure both of these squads tie up in segments. But Atlanta FaZe should be able to secure themselves the defensive round by simply outslaying in their first defensive side. And Simp still has that glide bomb to work with. That's right. Your LA Thieves, you need to have some success at this beat point, at least early on, because every time you're allowing Atlanta FaZe to set up properly, they're just trading efficiently to never lose control.
Atlanta FaZe get the defense in round 5. As you said, the glide bomb's going to be there. Arcitys has a hunch. Is it going to be early aggression from the Thieves, as it tends to be in these round 5s? And so far, it is being handled quite nicely. The great double comes in from Envoy and allows for map positioning to be in their favor. But trade after trade, former teammates dueling to the top side of the church, as the time will be halted right now in 1 minute and some change. Everybody from Thieves trying to go hunting, get these lives in your favor, and get this zone captured as quick as possible, Jay.
Exactly what they need to do. And then transition over towards that B point. But first tick is going to be complete. Now 2 minutes to work with. You're the Thieves. It's all about maintaining map control, putting the trades in your favor. As once again, Atlanta FaZe are going to take control of P5, force all of LA Thieves to overextend through field. They have been able to find this opening kill, but everything after that has been all Atlanta FaZe. Envoy with the first. A lot of players from the Thieves towards the back. This might be their break.
It could be indeed. A lot of players set up for 1v1s. A few players from Atlanta FaZe out of the picture. Kenny hops on the point. SMG fires well. Arcitys towards the top. He gets doubled as well. That's going to be 3. The final player alive is going to be Cellium. Trying to halt, trying to stop for the moment, wait for his teammates off of spawn. Able to do so for the moment, and Simp accordingly brings down the glide bomb, brings down the business, takes down a teammate in the process. 2 players still here for Thieves.
2 players still here. They still have somewhat control as Kenny does find the first.
Goodness.
Kenny finds the Kenny finds the third. Finds himself on a 5 spree, can potentially find all 4, but he's just stalling time for his teammates to get into play. Cellium and Simp, they shut down that pressure. That's going to be 3 down, and looked like that was going to be the moment right there where the Thieves could have closed this one out.
They were just inches away from getting that 3rd tick and locking up this series, but still, they've got a minute to work with, 1 tick to go, and as we said, that glide bomb is out of the picture. You did what you had to. But can they close them out? A team that they have never beaten in the CDL era. Can it happen? And in a 3-0, Kenny ultimately gets dropped. They jump onto the point. 2 players here. Envoy and Octane trying to stay alive. Octane will do so, but he can't say the rest about his teammates.
And right there was all on Simp. At least puts himself in a great position to find that 2-piece. Relieves some of the pressure for his teammates. Now 45 seconds, 12-12 in lives remaining. LA Thieves gonna try to execute this play towards the back again. They do get some information on where Simp is. But But as long as Atlanta FaZe just trade efficiently, they should be able to close this one.
Just take a look at what the positioning is right now from Atlanta. You got players almost like forming a rectangle inside of the point. Looking for every single corner. Information found, and it is currency. aBeZy's floating on air. Arcitys will put away the third. Nearly makes it the fourth. 8 seconds to go. Thieves, time to fire away. Time to throw yourself onto the point. Give it all you got, because it very well could be your last moment in this game, and that will be it. Thieves got incredibly close. Moments away, a gunfight away from closing out this Tuscan control, but Atlanta hold on just by enough, Jay.
Just keep in mind, if you're LA Thieves, if you don't get outslayed the way that you did in your first offensive round, you potentially set yourself up to have defense going into this round number 5. But Atlanta FaZe outslayed. They did the same exact thing on the attacking rounds when it came to the segments, but just a little too strong from Atlanta FaZe on defense. The Tiny Terrors really had themselves a great map. 37 and 28 from Simp, 28 non-traded kills. aBeZy right next to him, 29 and 28 with 23 non-traded. They were just causing so many problems for the D's. Every time they try to attack from the back, it was always that one player that was set up around P5 that wins that initial gunfight to slow down the trade process. It was great work from Atlanta FaZe now to come alive in this series, now down 2-1.
Yeah, without a doubt. And as you said, I mean, that glide bomb that Simp is able to earn, I mean, if he doesn't have that, that probably could be the game. That streak alone allowed for Atlanta FaZe to have a foothold as everybody, it's getting a little bit late, but the passion is still there. Fans going back and forth as the rivalry continues to be established. Atlanta FaZe hold on, and I don't know about you, Jay, but I mean, it still feels like it was a solid performance out of Thieves, all things considered. Like, normally, you know, if we were to see a team, you know, come through, win a control, sometimes your thought process is instantly different. It still feels like LA Thieves put up a great fight.
They definitely did, man, because if you go with their first attacking round, they get no segments at B. Second attacking round, they get 1. The last attacking round, they do get 2, but it just takes me back to the moment where Octane uses his glide bomb. Like, you spot 2 players in towards top radio, you also see 1 in towards church. He doesn't get a kill with that, so that probably potentially is what costed them this map. But just the Atlanta FaZe, when it came to their defensive setup, they always had a player in a trade situation. Every time they needed to hold down the top plat, the player who was holding that angle always found the opening 2-piece. Just Atlanta FaZe just doing everything they needed to do to hold strong on the defensive end to now find themselves down 2-1 into the series, so at least force another map.
Yeah, and the one thing, as we saw the final few seconds tick down, was really Envoy's performance. I mean, as we said, he has a phenomenal first 2 games in this series. We could talk about player stats. Obviously, it's not all onto him, just not winning gunfights, but just in general, not put in a position to succeed, whether that's off of his efforts or his team's. Does not see a ton of success on that Tuscan, and they are going to need him now coming into this Berlin hardpoint. Jay, give me some early thoughts, my man. The way that these 2 teams sit on this map, players are looking out for, all the goodies. What do you got for us?
I'm looking at the players that definitely need to step up. Is going to be the ARs on both sides. Octane and Drazah going up against Arcitys and Cellium. That's an absolute battle. But if you saw what map 1 taught us, it's all about teamwork. The way that LA Thieves in this series have been able to find themselves up 2-1 has been all teamwork. They did it in map number 1. Map number 2 was absolutely flawless. They lost that map number 3, but they still find themselves in a powerful position. Now they're going into a Berlin hardpoint, which has been one of their stronger maps, sitting at overall, I think, 10 and 7. So that's good for them, because on the opposite side for Atlanta FaZe, this was usually their auto veto, at least in the beginning of the season. So far throughout stage 4, I'm pretty sure they only played it once, but they're just trying to get this into their map pool, knowing that they are solidified for that champs with the number 1 seed. Try to expand that for them, but this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, very, very difficult task for LAT to try to lock this one up. At the same notion for Atlanta FaZe. I mean, as we said, these 2 respawns have been so close. They lost that dominant search and destroy on Tuscan previously, but I don't know, Jay, stats aside, like, give it to me straight. Be honest with me. Does it need to be a closeout here for Thieves? Like, does it have to be a 3-1 win? Or do you think that if they get to that game 5, it probably goes the other direction? Yeah,
I think in my opinion, it has to be right here where the Thieves are able to close this one out, because you have bad history on Berlin Search and Destroy versus Atlanta FaZe. And just the way that they have been able to change their game plan on that map, fast A plant, fast B plant, they take the play to you, and that's usually difficult for a team like LA Thieves, because they always play for that information, at least on their defensive side. So this is where, at least in my opinion, they have to try to close this one out. It's all going to come down to the rotations. I'm pretty sure we have the #1 and #2 overall rotating teams on this map. And just based off of what we saw on that map, #1, as long as LA Thieves put themselves in position to fight for the final 20 to 25 seconds of junk time, you're forcing Atlanta FaZe to early rotate, and then they weren't able to execute holds as well. Atlanta FaZe need to show me some teamwork to at least force game 5.
Yeah, that's what it's going to take. As we said, they're able to rebound in that Tuscan control, but by no means are they safe. Atlanta FaZe come into this Berlin hardpoint for what could be the final one of day 1. And what could send them down to the elimination bracket, LAT, it is all on to this one. Close them out, and boy, does that make your lives so much easier when we talk about the top 8. With all the madness that we've seen today, a W would allow for you to sleep quite nicely after day #1. But here we go, folks. Berlin HP, Thieves versus FaZe. And starting things off on the more preferred side are going to be LAT.
LAT just had to hold strong. You cannot allow Atlanta FaZe to break you right off the rip. Octane with great shots. Envoy with the second. Fortunately, not able to find that kill onto Simp, but they still have the numbers advantage here. All of Atlanta FaZe now coming off spawn as Envoy, the cutoff man, at least does take down 1. And now this has been greatly uncontested time so far for the Thieves.
And I love that look, right? I love that we're already seeing Envoy with a sense of urgency, try to rush out, get something going, get some momentum flowing, try to pressure FaZe after what has been a 36-0 start for LAT. Finally, aBeZy and co. able to break in. These last few seconds are going to be valuable. However, it is going to establish that lane, given the spawns for LAT to make their way up the street and ultimately arrive at this hard point first.
Now Simp's going to have his hands full. Going to be the first player here from Atlanta FaZe. Unfortunately, cannot win the gunfight. So now if you're the Thieves, it's all about maintaining map control, continuously holding these spawns, because you know how impactful that P3 can be. They find their initial gunfights. They're winning them. They're able to extend that time. Already find themselves at 50. Atlanta FaZe just need to slow down, execute a break as a team.
It just feels like right now they've yet to really find that lane. aBeZy hops on in, trades. It felt like we're going Atlanta's way, but Kenny explodes for a few. 3 in a row for him. Waits for his team, somewhat off a spawn. Atlanta are able to flip the spawns in the meantime. Kenny, full aggression, pistol out, does get dropped. Atlanta still spawning for this next hill, but if you're Thieves, you're happy to grab these last few seconds.
Yeah, you definitely are. This is exactly what they were able to do all of map 1 to grow the lead the way that they have. As now we're going into Atlanta FaZe's worst hill on this map. Pretty sure they're the worst P3 team throughout every single CDL squad. They are initially here off the setup, perfectly reading the players coming through that street side, but Envoy might have slept through. Finds that first kill. He's going to be the guy to potentially flip these spawns.
They don't see him back here. Cellium eventually takes him down, but how about that push that comes in from Envoy? It sets his teammates up for success. Cellium, the sole man in the back, thankfully holds on for just enough time to have everybody off of that spawn. Sticky ones indeed. When we talk about P3 on Berlin, Cellium does what he has to. But again, it was so close. That play from Envoy, that goes the opposite direction, and that clearly impacts the score line.
And that's a big gunfight from aBeZy. To not lose that one to Octane, you see what that does. Now putting pressure on towards P4. Spawns are starting to flip. Kenny cannot win that gunfight. Time he goes big to at least gain this remaining 15 seconds of junk time. Now all about this rotation. Thieves have full control of train. Atlanta FaZe have full control of back warehouse. These gunfights can be a drastic change in this game. Yeah,
they definitely can. Arcitys gets taken down. By the way, he's at 1-9 as we come into this HP. Envoy handles business, gets aBeZy off the streak, and turns for 1 onto Simp. A platter for 2 as LAT flip the spawns. They're in a great position to obviously reach that century mark. And Atlanta now in somewhat of a scrambling moment. They can't get any looks at this hard point. 4 down again. Thieves rolling.
Every single angle is cut off. They're forcing all of Atlanta FaZe to spawn all the way across the map towards fire. They're continuously growing this lead, getting closer and closer to that 250-point mark. I don't even know the last time Atlanta FaZe were able to get a kill. That's another clean 4 dead in the feed for the Thieves. Up by currently 60 points. They're going to have full control of P5, but you know they're thinking big picture. They need to flip that so they can get P1 once again.
Without a doubt, Atlanta, you got to play for this. Like, obviously, you have the spawns for next, but as you said, you just cannot allow for these seconds to go the opposite direction. You put yourself in such a hole that it can't allow for you to be flexible. Envoy eventually gets taken down. Kenny still alive, still thriving. A few of his teammates begin to fall by the wayside, and now it comes down to a 1v1 challenge. He takes that one as well. And Jay, I'm getting shades of when LAT took down OpTic Texas on this very map, and it was all because of this guy on your screen started to go on a heater. And from there, the Thieves rolled 3 in a row for Kenny. Kylo Ken has arrived in New York, forcing his way throughout the map and does not fall. 100-point advantage and growing right now for Thieves.
LA Thieves are playing perfect hardpoint. They find every single kill. We're able to flip those spawns. Now they can chain all that time that they just got off P5 now to a full setup at P1, forcing all of Atlanta FaZe to try to break this from Train. Kenny does put himself in a great position. Runs out of bullets, unfortunately. That's how you know the guy is beaming. But that opening 2-piece might be the break that Atlanta FaZe were looking for. All 4 dead. They get the break on P1.
Finally, right? Finally, Atlanta FaZe at least get a break for a moment. They spawn a little bit of sunshine on what is a very dark map in Berlin. Able to at least erase that 100-point advantage, now bring it to 90, but again, LAT knocking on the door. They've got 3 players here. They're right in front of you. Simp able to handle business onto 1. The hill lays vacant for the time. A 1v1 goes the way of MC, and now we start talking about this next rotation. Atlanta do what they have to, and now it comes down to a lot of these early 1v1s, Jay.
Yeah, you just have to win your gunfights off the rotation. Trades going back and forth, but the Thieves have more bodies on this side of the map. Envoy finds that crazy kill onto Simp, but that's going to be the Thieves winning their rotation battle. Able to get this initial time. Drazah with the AR. Big kill onto aBeZy. Almost finds the second onto Simp, but the spawns do flip. So now if you're the Thieves, it's all about just soaking as much time as you possibly can on this P2.
Yeah, it's not as if you broke as well with like 10 seconds left. There's still 40 seconds here in the library. MC decides to slide on through. He eventually gets taken down, setting up Simp for success. Trying to go on the flank, but again, just the timing not favoring Atlanta at all. He goes for the flank, but nobody is there for the initial challenge out of Atlanta. Double century mark reach for Thieves. They continue to dominate. They continue to take down players, winning these team fights, winning these 1v1s.
And now if you're Atlanta FaZe, you need to potentially stop this bleeding. You have to have a flawless hold at this P3 hardpoint, because it's been a great hardpoint after hardpoint so far from the Thieves. So far find themselves up by 100. 40 seconds away from closing out this series. Atlanta FaZe fully set up. A lot of pressure from the Thieves going through that street side, as Kenny does win at least that initial gunfight. If you're Atlanta FaZe, you just have to hold strong here.
You gotta hold strong, trying to do so. Last time around, it was MC who went big for the team. Kenny ends out on a 5 spree. Octane, the human turret, eventually falls. I had to get it in at least one time.
I see it, I heard it. Good one.
Atlanta locking things down for the moment. First wave cleared. And it just feels like if Thieves are able to break in one more time, that could be what seals the deal. And they do. They do exactly that right on cue. 3 fall. And if you're Atlanta, you want to try to go for this contest because you just got the most recent spawns, but my word, what are these pushes from Thieves?
That's such a big kill.
What are these
Drazah.
breaks?
Right there to Thieves, and also aBeZy. He was early on the rotation. He knows that we have to get those spawns. We have to at least try to chain a couple hills together. Especially when you have 3 teammates, you are basically forcing them to win their gunfights for you to try to get back into this game. But the Thieves off the rotation, properly set up for P4. 15 seconds away from closing out this map number 4 and winning the series.
They can feel it, but you can never count out a team like Atlanta FaZe. Kenny having a phenomenal map, 26 and 18, 1 HP, goes for the chow, wins it on to 1. Keeps his teammates with at least somewhat of a farther pushed up position. Cellium on the 5 spree. When we talk about numbers, only 9 more points left for Thieves to lock this one up, but FaZe will not go away. They break, I guess not at the perfect time, but ultimately when they had to. As we said for LAT, They can play flexible. They can try to go for this contest. Set up for P1, rather P5. The choice is theirs.
Yeah, now if you're Atlanta FaZe, you have to have multiple bodies at every single hill. And now you have to fight for this P5 control. And I'm pretty sure they are the best P5 team in the game currently. Just that first go around, they just let the Thieves run away with it. 5 seconds from the Thieves closing this out. Trades going back and forth. As Cellium eventually comes out on top, but Drazah with the 2, and the Thieves, they win the series.
Unbelievable! LAT come out again. Revenge is sweet. Just weeks ago, humiliated by the team on the other side of the stage. 6-0 losses in Search and Destroy. Donuts were handed out, but it's a W now for the Thieves here on LAN. And my goodness, that battle for top 8 gets even more interesting now with that win. And for Atlanta, instantly in the elimination side.
And that is the gauntlet. We have all 3 major winners in the losers bracket side. When you add a team like Atlanta FaZe, it only gets a little bit more scarier. As LA Thieves, from start to finish of this series, let me just tell you, the teamwork was out of this world from the Thieves. Obviously, in map number 1, they dominate. The Search and Destroy, every single time Atlanta FaZe were trying to play for somewhat map control, the Thieves with their teamwork, team nades, positioning was all on point. They lose the control in a grueler all the way in round number 5, but for them to respond, taking 2 of these hard points versus a team like Atlanta FaZe who have been struggling in this mode, great work from the Thieves, especially on this Berlin. That was flawless textbook plays from them. They were able to, at least in the first go around, get a good chunk of time at P5. And then if you're Atlanta FaZe, you have to play a little bit safer at that point. You have to back up, secure that time for P1 so you can potentially get yourself back in the game. But they were super aggressive through the middle of the map. They all lose their gunfights. They were able to flip it. And I think that was the turning point of the game for me. When you allow the Thieves to chain hill after hill, you can see what that does to the lead. Atlanta simply just didn't have an answer.
Yeah, and it's crazy too, Jay, because, I mean, what? LAT are arguably 1 kill away, a glide bomb kill away from a 4-0.
Yeah.
Like, that was the thing. It wasn't as if these were unbelievably, you know, close games that went down to the wire. But we're talking about a 250 to 170 game on Berlin, like a 250 to 130, 140 game, and the opening hard point, a dominant S&D win on top of it all. This series is one that you're going to look back on and think very, very highly of if you are an LAT fan. One of their biggest W's this season. And as we said, it's their first W versus Atlanta FaZe in the CDL. What a W. What a way to close out the day as well.
That's just got to feel good if you're the Thieves, man. Throughout all of stage 4, they go 3-2. They have a couple struggle maps, but to come out here and get a victorious, a very dominant win versus a team like Atlanta FaZe who consistently been plays the second all year long. Oh, these guys have definitely turned into one of my favorites at this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely, my man. LAT come out, they look solid, they get the W. More importantly, they get the revenge versus Atlanta FaZe. And now that's going to do it for us here in the caster booth. Now we send it down to the stage. It is Blaze, joined alongside by Kylo Ked.
Thank you so much, Lando and Study, for a fantastic cast. Give it up for the LA Thieves coming out with the last victory of the day. Kenny, man, this series right here, okay? It's a victory for you guys. 3-1, you ran the pockets of FaZe, okay?
Yeah.
Tell me about this heist and how difficult was it for you and the boys?
Honestly, it was some of the best COD we played as a unit. Honestly, that's what we're talking about. Our comms are all calm. We were all shooting together most of the time. We felt like on the control, if we got the defense, we would have won it. But overall, I mean, I'm excited because we played some pretty perfect COD, to be honest.
And what equates to that, okay? You guys got a talented coaching staff.
Yep.
What's been a big difference maker from you guys in the beginning of the season, playing fantastic, to coming up to this point and trying to get back there?
I think initially with the roster, I mean, not the roster swap, the role swap, it was just getting me comfortable on the map with a sub.
Okay.
And then after we got to that point, it was just kind of just how we take practice and going over macro things, whether like it be like focusing on certain maps like touch and control. We didn't play it for a lot of the time, and then yeah, just not micromanaging every play that we could, and just going over our macro ideas and what we want to do as a game plan.
Nice, nice. Now, as Champs is coming up on the next event, we know one thing, it's all about qualifying.
Yeah.
How you feeling about the LA Thieves' chances at getting to LA?
I mean, if you've seen that series, I think any LAT fan should be happy because I feel like I'm pretty...
Happy?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I mean, after that win, it was like the one win we felt like we needed because we haven't beat them. So that was a pretty confidence booster.
It was. Well, Kenny, I know you're ready to get back to the squad, start breaking that match down. Got anything you want to say to the fans out there?
Thank you, guys. Thank you for all the support. We hear you.
They hear you. Give it up for the LA Thieves. Belly, close us out.
Bend, don't break is the motto, and hey, it's a combo breaker. LA Thieves just 3-1 the Atlanta FaZe, and Ali, what do we make of this right now?
All right, well, first and foremost, production, can we please put it on my one for just a moment? I would like to formally apologize for my statement earlier, specifically to Map 1, Envoy 34 and 20, Drazah 25 and 17, Map 2, Kenny 12 and 4, Map 3, Octane 36 and 26, Kenny Map 4, 27 and 22, and Octane 25 and 18. I apologize.
Jeez, LA Thieves seem to just run just wild on them. Nameless. I should have said LA Thieves when you asked me earlier about my prediction, man. You set me up.
That was just, what a performance. Like, they were just talking about in the interview. Kenny was like, that was flawless COD. It really was. Like, a glide bomb away from winning that Game 3 control as well. Like, this team really came out here under pressure, clutches up time and time again. But, you know, we got to talk about it. FaZe looks so sloppy in that series as well. And then the veto strategy, like, going in and not playing Gavutu, that is their best hardpoint. I get it, like, they lost to Thieves last time they played Gavutu, but that's your best hardpoint. Come out and play that instead of Berlin, which has been their worst one all season long. But granted, it might not even matter the map because the boys on the Thieves were individually taken over, but more importantly, as a team.
I believe this is the most times in 1 month since I've been working in Call of Duty that Atlanta FaZe have lost the most amount of games. But also on the flip side, we have a Scump played a game in 10. I want you to help me out, man. I want to hear your thoughts about this series. This has to do with Kenny and Envoy popping off and going crazy.
I mean, it's just all game long. I just didn't expect this kind of performance out of them. We've had no real evidence to suggest that this has been coming. Things seem to have just clicked. For FaZe, we talked about it so often throughout the online stages, like, oh, they may be testing stuff. When we get the LAN, will they step it up? But they didn't at all. Thieves were there all day long. We were sitting down there. Kenny couldn't miss a bullet in that fourth map. That was absolutely crazy. I'm just sitting here waiting for, you know, it's Stranger Things where the grandfather clock floats across the screen, and like, I'm just waiting for Wagner just to pull me into the. I'm done with it. I just don't understand how we can predict any of this at this stage.
No, not at all. But the one thing we can say is it's not like we kind of didn't see this coming because in stage 1, LA Thieves were my pick to win the whole event. And Atlanta,
that was so long ago,
life comes full circle. Atlanta FaZe broke LA Thieves with that reverse sweep. LA Thieves were never the same. We all talk trash about them. And now look, you got to give them their flowers. LA Thieves, man, they put in the work and they won it out.
Oh yeah, 100%. You have to say that that was much better. But it's just that this is the thing. Most of the time, we don't have the evidence to suggest that this is going to happen. We looked at, honestly, we sat in the green room there before, and we seen the stats come up for the control. It was like Atlanta first and everything, and how close it was. It doesn't make sense. No. It doesn't make sense how close that was. It just shouldn't be. This should be a close-out for Atlanta, and then move on and see how you do. It is so hard to predict what is going on at these majors, but it's making it entertaining, at least anyway. I would say it's just every game, you do not know which way it's going to go.
We want to give so many flowers to LA Thieves, and they absolutely deserve it for their performances on LAN. I mean, I feel like every time I'm mind blown by what they are ended up pulling out, but the Atlanta FaZe, we have to talk about it. Their search and destroy was supposed to be disgusting. The one team that they went 12-0 against, pretty sure that set a record. Fluke? They lost. They lost the search and destroy. I mean, this is the Atlanta FaZe who, when their search and destroy is on point, they are the scariest team across the board in any game, and they're in losers. After day 1, this is Thursday, and then the Atlanta FaZe has already dropped down to losers bracket.
And tomorrow we're going to see if Atlanta FaZe goes home and gets double eliminated in Major 4. But let's go ahead and recap.
They play Paris, by the way. Could you imagine?
Can you imagine?
There's no way Vanguard.
I'm predicting Paris Legion tomorrow. But let's go ahead and recap the games that went down today. We kicked off today with the little European rivalry. We had Toronto Ultra and, of course, the London Royal Ravens. Now, when it came to both of these teams heading into this matchup in this event, one team was significantly better than the other. London Royal Ravens were 4-1, and Toronto Ultra looked lost.
Listen, I mean, this series was just absolutely insane. Bonkers right off the rip with a 1-point difference in the hard point. London able to clutch up, but it comes down to the control, man. We were so worried about this London Royal Ravens team and what happens if they can't figure out their control. Well, we saw exactly what happens there. They go ahead, they lose the control, 0-6 now in their last 6, and then they go up into that Berlin where it's Toronto Ultra. That's their best hard point. They lose that, and then from then on out, we know what's the deal. I mean, it's Toronto Ultra in a Game 5 S&D. Like, they expose the weaknesses of the London Royal Ravens. You can't come into a major with a game mode that you just can't win and make a run. It's not possible. So they have to fix it in order to do something in this tournament.
Right, and also the second game of the day. All right, Florida Mutineers, right? They picked things up to 3 ARs. Apparently, you're still working, and they were able to beat out the Boston Breach.
Honestly, I will say this, that this is probably maybe the most predictable series of the day, with the fact of once we saw the map layout, the Gavutu and the Desert Siege, this is the Florida Mutineer squad that we have joked about all season having 3 main ARs, and to square up with them on this map is just like LA Thieves in the beginning of the season playing Gavutu hard point, and it set Boston up for failure because they have been struggling in Search and Destroy so much recently, and we saw that in both Search and Destroys in this series, because yes, they pushed it to the Game 5, but they still could not close it out in the Bocage. They just kept getting blooded round after round, and a team like Florida, with the likes of Major Maniac added onto the squad, and I have to give the flowers to Two Real, because in that game mode is where we see those two truly shine, close it out.
And Vivid was unable to get his revenge against his previous team. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the hypest game of the day done. NYSL, Minnesota Røkkr. Minnesota looked like they were going to put it to bed early, but New York, they're the city that doesn't sleep, right?
Oh, I mean, they came through. The crowd behind them, a phenomenal performance to bring it back. But my main takeaway from this series is not even what happened in the series.
Okay.
New York are now in a terrible spot to try and win because of Thieves winning. Nobody would have thought it. So this game, yes, a massive win for them, and I know we're going to go through it. We got the stats and the leaderboard of where everybody's sitting, but that was a horrible result.
Top 2 now.
They basically have to win the event. It's crazy.
I mean, the storyline overall is that anyway we wanted New York to win the event, right? Like, it's their home event series, right? You know, without the whole over-looming thing of having to make it to champs. It's, you know, their home series. We want to see them succeed and make it all the way to the end, because what's better than your home team being in the grand final? But there's so much more pressure added on top of that now.
And by the way, we have to say it outright. We've been saying it over and over again, and it kind of sounded like we were saying it to chill. Nah, this is the most competitive event that we've had all year long, and this is just day 1, by the way. But check this out, Nameless. We have a game field tactical play with Standy and Havok, who were on the Minnesota Røkkr, put on such a good performance, but couldn't close out.
Yo, dude, listen. Standy went 10-0 in the Search and Destroy game 2, and then, like, I mean, you know what these guys are capable of, man. It just fell apart for them throughout the rest of the series. You can see in the game field tactical play here, this is the pinch, the retake here. These guys had so many different clutches. Like, Standy also had a 1v2 earlier in this map. I believe it was round number 1, honestly. This guy just literally was taking over, doesn't die the entire game. Like, there's only been like 3 or 4 times we've seen that. TJHaly had one of those, I believe it was last year. Like, those don't come by often. And to go into the next map and lose it, that is just so crushing.
That is absolutely crushing. That's heartbreaking. And,
wow.
Yeah, the updated points.
This is also crushing to look at, especially if you're the New York Subliners sitting at 130. Once again, just like the qualifier woes, all the teams that they needed to win today, unfortunately, were unable to pull it out.
New York Subliners goes against the Florida Mutineers, and Florida, if they win that one game, New York are in a lot of trouble. Can you even imagine that?
I think it might be. I think if Florida win that, I think it's done.
Yeah, I think it's done.
That's it.
Yeah, because then they would have got too many points. The Subliners, even if they do then to go on win the event, they won't be able to overtake them. I think quick mental maths, but they need to literally win this event. They need everybody else to do terrible.
This is great.
We were talking
this is great.
We were talking about the green room though. If they if this team had sort of kind of turned up at Toronto or something like that, it's a completely different scenario. But it's their struggles on LAN that has been the issue. Online, especially in the last stage as well, they look great. They just haven't been able to convert it to points online, and it's hurting them now. It's really hurting them.
Oh, it's definitely hurting, but you know what's going to hurt a lot more? Everybody in that losers bracket, baby. Let's go ahead and put it up on the screen because 3 of the 4 last champs are going to be down there, and nameless.
The scariest losers bracket
Woo!
ever. You have the 3 major winners. Then you have Atlanta FaZe in losers bracket round 1. If I'm in the losers bracket, I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, we got to do whatever it takes to avoid that.
Wait. Let's take a look at tomorrow's schedule as well. Let's break this down slowly. We're going to name off every single one. This is going to be thick with action. Paris Legion, Atlanta FaZe. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? Paris Legion are coming out on top of that series. I'm going to say it with my chest right now.
There we go. Hey, we're laughing because it's scary, okay? After that, LAG versus London Royal Ravens.
Trap game. I have no idea who's going to win.
Complete trap game.
An absolute question mark. LAG looks so much better in the last couple series.
LAG has been phenomenal with Neptune. Third game, a ton. Seattle Surge, Boston Breach. This is like a top 4 matchup.
Can I just say, what's the point in predicting games? I don't know what to say about it. Surge won last major, looked terrible afterwards.
And to the technicality, Boston, I'm pretty sure is undefeated against CL Surge, or at least has 2 wins against them. And
That's
then following
crazy.
So Breach will probably lose.
Yeah, last time they played, what happened? Yo. And then the second to last game of the day, we got OpTic Texas versus Minnesota Røkkr. This is doable.
Exactly, and what we saw in Minnesota today was like they look like the best team in the world the first 2 maps, then completely fell apart the remainder of it. So if they're able to bounce back and play like that, who knows? Versus OpTic Texas, who just got Illy back. Tomorrow's matches are literally the most unpredictable matches we've ever had.
Everybody's breaking point predictions are just going to go out the window. I'm absolutely dead. Allie?
Can I just say, how did we manage to have a crazy major 1, and then an even crazier major 2, and then an even crazier major 3, and now we're in major 4, all 12 teams, like, who knows what's going on? What is Champs gonna be?
You know what Champs is gonna be? Phenomenal, sensational. Okay, make sure you copy your tickets right now because in August, we're gonna see all of you in my beautiful state of California. It's gonna be live at the Galen Center August 4th through 7th. I haven't been to Champs before. I'm ready to blow the roof off the place. I'm ready to get the whole crowd hyped. I'm not ready. They're not ready. The players aren't even ready. We don't even know who's going yet.
Who knows? Honestly, at this stage, if Paris can make it, I'd say it'd be plausible. Based on what has been happening this weekend, it's been stupid. Honestly, coming on this analyst desk, I do not know what to say anymore. That's at what stage I'm at. That's at what stage I'm at.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time to close things out for day number 1. We have 3 more days of CDL Major 4 action. Let's go ahead and close this desk down, all right? Today has been nothing less than phenomenal, baby. Upset, surprises, and explosiveness, it was everywhere. It was all over the place. The thing is, in King's Theater, there's basically just storylines just coming out the wazoo, man. New York Subliners are in desperation mode as they cannot afford to lose 1 more game, but the upsets, the surprises, Atlanta FaZe and OpTic will be playing for their lives tomorrow. We don't know what the outcome is going to be, but if you watch anything that happened today, baby, you know that Major 4 in Brooklyn is going to go down as a legendary event. Can't wait to see what's going to happen tomorrow for Elimination Day. At the same place and the same time, we'll catch you guys here for some more Call of Duty action. I love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope all of you have a good night. Catch you next time.
Bye.